I was walking in the classroom when a girl shouted, "Don't come in, we're getting changed!" I immediately stopped still. I heard them laughing like squeaking dolphins. Not knowing what to do, I frantically turned around to leave and bang! "Twinkle, twinkle, little star," I muttered to myself. What was that wall doing there, and why was there all these stars around in broad daylight? I fell to my knees, and yuck, my nose was bleeding. Then I saw this pretty girl staring down at me. Alas, was she an angel? "Don't worry, with our help you'll soon get used to this school. I'm Dolly, by the way." Then she winked at me. Nope, she wasn't an angel. She was a student. So my name's Dean, and the first day in my new job as a homeroom teacher wasn't going as planned. I have experience teaching physics at co-ed school, but never in a private all-girls school. You see, houses for teachers and high salaries were the reasons why I chose to transfer here. To be honest, if I haven't overindulged in the stock market and ended up in debt, I certainly wouldn't have taken off from home and severed all contact with my wife, Anna. She paid all my debts, and that was too much for a man's pride. So here I was, trying to make a quick buck so I could pay her back and win back her heart. From the get-go, I knew this school would be different to what I was used to. As when I first came to meet the principal, I saw a group of giggling teenage girls huddled outside of her office. They whispered among each other, started taking pictures of me, and even made finger heart signs. At the end of the meeting, the principal said, "You'll be the second male teacher in our school, and between you and me, Mr. Richmond is somewhat of an old fogey, so I think you'll be a wind of change here," she grinned. After that, she introduced me to the other teachers in the staff room. As I shook hands with Mr. Richmond, he smirked and said, "They're going to eat you alive." What a strange old man. What did he even mean by that? I'm a confident professional guy, and they were a bunch of teenage girls. This job would be a breeze, right? Then I turned and saw a group of students with their lips pressed to the frosted glass, then they giggled and ran off. Anyway, back to my first full day here. I let Dolly help me up to my feet, stuck a bit of tissue in my nose to stop the bleeding, then reminded myself of my motto. To know oneself is true progress. Then I took a deep breath and tried to start my lecture in a professional manner. Dozens of pairs of eyes glared up at me. I felt like I was being eyed up for dinner. Then there was the mess. Flung about the place were gym clothes. Ew, and even worse, there was this odd smell that hit my olfactory organs directly. It wasn't the sweet sense of perfume or anything. It was like intense body odor. How strange. Maybe my sense of smell had been affected by my bleeding nose. Never mind, the lesson must go on. When I was walking down the class, a shout came from the corner. "Alert code red!" Then this pink dart flew past my face, and I had to lean back to dodge it. At that moment, my heart stopped beating for a second. Just like in a Japanese manga, the girl caught it in a ninja way. But wait, I looked closely and found out that it was just a tampon. My God, what on earth was going on? Well, my first day on the job had been eventful. I needed a lie down and a strong drink. But I bet things would calm down when the excitement of my presence wore off, right? Wrong. As each day seemed to get crazier. I soon had my own fan club. As every lunchtime, Dolly and her friends followed me around. And every morning they brought me a bottle of juice with some cute note stuck to it. Then things spiraled, as one day in the cafeteria, Dolly sidled up to me, twizzled the strand of her hair and said, "Sir, I like you." Knowing full well what she meant, I tried to say as nonchalantly as I could, I like you too, you're a good student." Then she put her arm around me and in a flirty voice said, "No, I mean I like you." I turned as red as a tomato and instantly loosened my tie. Jeez, it was hot in here. "Help, send help." I forced a smile and politely told her I had a meeting, then I walked off as quickly as possible. Talk about being intense, but luckily, I had sports day to distract me from all the teenage girl hormones. I was in the athletic squad back in the day, so I reserved my spot in the teacher's long-distance running race. As I was warming up, I saw Dolly and her friends standing at the sideline with a huge banner with my face on it. The other school teachers all giggled when they saw it. Cringe. Then the race started, and I was miles ahead of everyone else. This was an absolute breeze. I would definitely be the champion. Then I heard Dolly whistle over at me, and another girl shouted, "We love you, sir!" Then, I tripped over my own feet and fell over and sprained my ankle. Ouch! One by one, the teachers overtook me, even Mr. Richmond. Talk about humiliating. I wanted the ground to gobble me up. But then my fan club hurried over to me, and Dolly said, "You're still the best. You even look more handsome when running." Then she wiped the sweat off my forehead using a towel. I was too tired, and my pride was too dented to react. I didn't think Dolly's crush on me was a big deal. This was common for teenage girls, right? But then one afternoon, I finished late and was walking across the girls' grounds when this aggressive-looking dude blocked my way. He pushed my shoulder and said, "You better stop flirting with my little Dolly and stay away from her, you hear me?" Huh? What was going on? Then Dolly appeared. She looked different than usual with her face covered in makeup. She charged up to the guy, stared at him, and yelled out, "Hank, we're so over, so go away. I'm into him, not you." Contrary to that gentle look in class, this version of Dolly was quite frightening. Just a few lifts of her eyebrows were enough to make that guy sulk away. Then Dolly turned to me and sighed. "Sorry about him. He made me realize that I like men, not boys." Then without giving me time to reply, she blew me a kiss, then shimmied off. I stood there stunned. What just happened? Dear God, please get me out of this mess now. From then on, I tried my best to avoid Dolly and the rest of my fan club. I had my lunch with the boring teachers in the staff room and never marked work in my classroom anymore. One day I was strolling along the corridor when I spotted Dolly up ahead, so I quickly turned up a different corridor and bump! I walked straight into the new girl, and we both tumbled over. Books and stationery flying everywhere. I frantically apologized and helped her up, but she looked at me and said, "Oh, so this is where you're hiding." "What? Uh-oh." It was Chloe, my sister-in-law. I quickly gathered up her stuff and bundled it into her arms, then I rushed off. She shouted after me, "Do you know that Anna's worried sick about you?" A stab of pain raced through my heart. Without turning back, I told her, "I'm sorry. I'll go home when I'm able to pay her back." Great. Now I had Chloe to avoid too. She was persistent. She waited for me after class and nagged me to come back home. But who can understand my feeling? I could never look at Anna's face again until I earned enough money. Then one day after school, when I was leaving my classroom, I received a message from Chloe. "I'm at the pool. Please come. I'm in big trouble." What was going on? Afraid that something bad was happening to her, I rushed over there, sweaty and out of breath, to see her standing there looking perfectly fine. Confused, I asked her what was up, and she shrugged and said, "I accidentally dropped my earring in the pool." "What?" I frowned. "I don't have time for childish games." I was about to leave, but then I saw a furious-looking Dolly heading over. "Hey, weird red-headed girl, just stop finding ways to flirt with my Deanie, you understand me?" Chloe smirked, and with crossed arms, she replied, "It's you who should stay away from Deanie," she chuckled. "You surely don't want to wave a red flag at a bull." Dolly let out a war cry before she charged at Chloe, but she dodged out of the way, and Dolly fell headfirst into the pool. Chloe rolled her eyes. "Now let me guess, she's going to pretend that she can't swim." Sure enough, Dolly started screaming. "Help me, please, Dean, I'm dying!" I thought it was another trick of Dolly's, but no, she was still struggling under the water, so I quickly jumped in to rescue her. Oh no, she wasn't conscious, and I started giving her mouth-to-mouth. After trying for a while, Dolly seemed to regain consciousness. But when I was a little bit relieved, I heard a familiar voice behind me. "What are you doing, Dean?" I stopped and turned around. I couldn't believe it. There, with a look of complete distress on her face, was Anna. Dolly sat up and said, Who's she?" "I'm his wife, but I think I shouldn't be here." And then she stormed off. I rushed after her and tried telling her it wasn't what it looked like. She let out this heartbroken wail, then sobbed out, "You left me without saying a word, and then I find you kissing some teenager. I never want to see you again." Then she took off her wedding ring and threw it at me. I honestly thought I'd lost Anna forever. My heart was breaking. But then a sheepish-looking Dolly came over to us and said, "I'm sorry, I wasn't drowning. I made it up so he would kiss me. It's all my fault. Please don't be mad at him." Then Chloe appeared and backed up Dolly's story. She also confessed that she'd set the meeting between me and Anna up at the pool so we could talk to each other and sort it all out, but then Dolly appeared and messed it all up. After that, Dolly finally realized that I'm a happily married man. She stopped all of her fan club stuff, but she still brings me juice every day, only this time with an apology note stuck to it. So I finally realized what a jerk I'd been, and I tried my best to make it up to Anna. I shouldn't have just ran away from my troubles and left the woman I love in the dark like that. That wasn't fair. As for this job, I guess it isn't so bad after all. So I'm still sticking around even though I'm finished paying Anna back. It's good for my ego being the hunk around the place, and now I'm kind of used to groups of giggling teenage girls and their mood swings. Ha!